US President Joe Biden is slated to visit Israel in a show of support and solidarity as the United States works to prevent the war with Hamas from spreading across the region. The trip was announced by Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, who stated, and I quote, Mr. Biden will be making a visit amidst a critical moment for Israel, for the region and the world. And according to our sources, President Biden is scheduled to arrive in Israel at 12:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time today. This visit comes after U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken's visit to Israel last week. Akshat joins me on the phone line to talk more about this. Akshat, of course, there was a lot of mystery over when the President of the United States is going to be arriving in Israel, but it seems that it's confirmed and it is a big show of solidarity and support, and also the optics that come along with this.
Well, yes, the U.S. President Joe Biden is set to reach around 12:30 p.m. In Israel, and of course in a show of solidarity and in a show of support with Israel. But President Joe Biden's efforts to actually tamp down tensions in the escalating war between Israel and Hamas has faced some setbacks also. Even before he departed for the Middle East yesterday, as Jordan also called off the president's planned summit with Arab leaders after a deadly explosion at the Gaza hospital, which actually took place yesterday night, and more than 300 people actually lost their lives in that attack. And of course, Israel continues to say that it was done by Islamic Jihad group, and of course that blame game is still going on. But now Biden will only visit Israel and will postpone his travel to Jordan. And this postponement of the Amman summit also comes after Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas withdrew from the scheduled meetings in protest of the attacks, which the health ministry in Gaza also blamed on an Israeli airstrike. Mr. Biden also released a statement saying that he was outraged and deeply saddened by the explosion of the hospital in Gaza. And he also spoke to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also about this. Still, the cancellation of the Jordan leg of the trip reflects an increasingly volatile situation that will actually test the limits of the...
Sanjay Kapoor, International Affairs expert, also with us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Sanjay, a very good morning to you. We haven't spoken about what's been happening in Gaza and, of course, in Israel. But the situation is far more than serious at this point in time. If the American president is visiting a country that finds itself surrounded by adversaries, this is obviously a very concerning process, as well as the deal is that if the Americans have to get involved in this war, there are going to be further repercussions that the Middle East and the Arab countries will have to deal with.
Thank you for inviting me to speak on this horrific issue. It has been really disturbing to know that there are no red lines for Israel when they're bombing everything out on Gaza. In fact, a UN official said refugee camps, hospitals are no longer immune from these attacks. So this is a very, very dangerous situation. But I can tell you the impression in the Arab world is that the US is backing it. If they have two warships which are there in the northern Mediterranean, not warships, but aircraft carriers which have the capacity to blow out the entire region, you can understand whom they're backing. And the fear is that the United States may not just confine itself to protecting Israel, but they might also try to reorder much of the region. The basic arc of attack may be Iran, because that is the country that has been alleged for supporting Hamas. But this hospital episode, which has caused deep turmoil in the region, with the countries which are supposed to be allies of the United States of America feeling deeply outraged, and in fact cancelling engagement with President Biden, is something that the US did not think would be part of the script which will unfold in the coming days. But I can tell you that Israel itself is on a very weak wicket. They had the legitimacy earlier to do pretty much put the Palestinians and Hamas on the defensive. They were squandered it by overdoing it. That is how they all do it. I was watching a program of a comedian who married a lady from Gaza, and he was saying that we don't know the exchange rate. How many Israelis you need to, for one Israeli, how many Palestinians you need to kill? And now the ratio has gone totally out of control, out of whack actually. And that is where it is likely to happen if there is no ceasefire. Ceasefire should be implemented by the United States immediately if they want any credibility left in that region, because now all of the region wants to take up arms and go to the defense of Palestine, because they cannot reconcile to the idea of so many dying in their neighborhood and not doing anything, because history is not going to forgive them for this.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.